In 1459, a book was written that contained images so bizarre that even 500 years later, their meaning is still shrouded in mystery. It depicts improbable medieval siege engines and machines of war, figures an extraordinary apparatus, and bloodthirsty duels. But key information is missing from the manuscript, and the author is displayed cryptically holding a broken chain. The design in Talhoffer's manuscript is almost unbelievably depicting an armored tank. The reference to lorication in the text is a term describing plated armor. But how could such a heavy protected vehicle ever be moved?
It's a tank. It's possibly the first tank. We have to interpret things. You can see how this comes off the page here. Well, the text tells us that there are two carriages, that it's pushed by horses. So there are horses in here harnessed up, so it's going that way. This is a machine designed to go into the enemy, but what's it do when it gets there? Well, look, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cannon on each side. This is 1459, but gunpowder has been around a while. These cannon are drawn with such detail, you can see the touch hole on each of them.
Driven by a team of horses and mounted with cannons, such a war machine seems improbable in medieval times. Did this tank really exist? And how vital was the heavy armor protecting it? A replica of the similar to the design in Talhoffer's manual has been built by historical experts in Denmark.
By 1459, cast iron had been invented in the West, but it was only really used for cannonballs, and they couldn't yet bore and drill through a solid block. So they made it in the same way they made buckets and barrels. They made it with staves, single slats of iron that are held together by hoops, just like they are on a barrel. And that is why it's called the barrel of a gun.
By 1459, cannon technology was available that would allow multiple firing of the weapons from within the safety of the tank. A technology that is the distant ancestor seen on today's modern battlefield.
By around 1450, they had developed the breech-loading cannon. That meant you could put the cannonball or the hail shot in at the breech end. And the secret to that technology was this, the breech pot. In here, you pre-prepared, you poured your gunpowder in there, and that was sealed with a wooden tampion.
The breech-loading technology could allow a gun crew to fire 2 or 3 rounds a minute. But how much damage could these medieval cannons really deliver?
Look at this. Look at this. It's just smashed through these boards. It's made a great big hole. Here we go. Look, there. It's gone right through that in a musket-shaped hole. This could have been a paper screen. So one thing that tells me is our tank would have to be an armoured vehicle. If you're going to take that vehicle into the enemy, which the horses behind and the wedge in front look like you are, then you must be armoured, because the enemy have got cannon just like that.
It's hard to imagine such a sophisticated machine in the medieval age, an age perceived as containing only primitive technology. But other historical sources besides Talhoffer depict medieval tanks, suggesting that they were more than just the fight master's imaginative fancy. But not all objects in Talhoffer's manual have such evidence to support them. Alongside the tank is an object even more difficult to comprehend.
We always get very excited about invention.
Well, this manuscript offers us a glimpse into the violent and complicated world that we're only just beginning to truly understand.